How do you feel today, sir?
I'm good. I'm very good. How about you?
Well, it is a bit nerve-wracking sometimes, but today has been interesting, to say the least.
Yeah. So architecture is not just building a wall and a roof. It's also what is your front yard look like. Aesthetics is always parts of architecture indeed. Of any life, I would say.
And so you have to be a really creative person to be an architect.
No, you don't have to be. No, you can also be a very scientific person or a very calculated person.
Anyone can be an architect.
Yes, anyone can be an architect, but
Good morning, everyone. My name is Lieutenant General Cedric Yago, and today we are on the Making You Better You show. This is a show that will give us more knowledge by talking to an expert, and it makes us a better person in life. And now, let us go to the topic. The topic for today will be very informative and very inspirational. The guest for today is from Austria. He is a person who is an expert in sustainable architecture, and in fact, he is the lead architect for Orangutan Haven, Eco Park, and Wildlife. So, without further ado, let us welcome Sir Gilbert Moore.
thank you, Cedric. Thank you for introducing me.
How are you feeling today, sir?
It's an honor to be here. I heard we are the first ones today
Yeah, we are the first ones today.
in this place.
We are indeed the first ones today, and I feel very honored to be here.
Let's make it happen, right?
How do you feel today, sir?
I'm good. I'm very good. How about you?
Well, it is a bit nerve-wracking sometimes, but today has been interesting, to say the least.
Yeah.
Today, I saw my cat catching a bat today.
Oh,
And the bat was kind of rotting in the backyard. Just a kind of a weird thing, but I mean, he just caught a bat out of nowhere. I bet he was throwing in kicks like some people would in, for example, boxing or Muay Thai. It would have been funny. It would have been funny to watch, but sadly, I didn't get to see it.
that's life.
It's
You're
like,
kicking into wildlife talks directly, do you?
of course. But before we start, Gilbert,
What are we gonna talk about today?
we are going to talk about perhaps your profession, which is being an architect or sustainable architect.
Yeah.
And perhaps we might go into a bit more private stuff, like perhaps informative or inspirational private stuff. And if you feel like it's not something that you're comfortable with, please be sure to tell us.
Always
Okay.
always good.
Okay, without further ado, let us start with my first question. So, Gilbert, my first question is, since, well, I've heard the word like architecture, I've always thought that it's like being about designing buildings for homes, for offices. I've never really thought about it being in like a sector of where you can build parks or even houses for animals. And even my mom or my dad wonders because they have never really heard about the profession called sustainable architecture before.
Mm-hmm.
And since you specialize in a profession as that, what is it really like to be a bamboo architecture or a bamboo architect?
Interesting. Yeah, indeed. The main reputation that architecture has is building a concrete house, a bunker. Where does that come from? Yeah, we go back the start of humanity, and architecture was the first primitive humanoid finding a few tree branches in the woods and building up a shack. So that was the first architecture. Indeed, it is related with housing, but a part of that, it is related with, this first human being was in the forest, was in nature, or was in the desert, wherever. And then, you not look at the house itself in a broad way of architecture, but you look at your surroundings. So you're engaging the environment, the nature, into this space. So architecture is not just building a wall and a roof. It's also what is your front yard look like? What is the garden? So there's landscaping to it. And then there is all these aspects of water conservation, of natural airflow, interior enhancement, and so on. And that makes it then a sustainable architecture only when you tick all the boxes of making a better place for not only a human being, but also for all living beings on planet Earth. And that draw me, into bamboo architecture. Coming from there.
So essentially, sustainable architecture doesn't just cover like walls or just the roof of a house, but it covers entire aspects of
Yeah, you got it.
entire landscape. Yeah, it covers like a backyard. It covers like even covers animals too, doesn't it?
Yes.
It covers wildlife. It covers the environment,
It covers the whole ecosystem.
and also trying to make it look good at the same time.
Aesthetics is always parts of
Architecture.
architecture, indeed, and of any life, I would say.
And so you have to be a really creative person to be an architect.
No, you don't have to be. No, you can also be a very scientific person or a very calculative person. There's architects who calculate the heat, lighting, air, and energy use of buildings. Those are architects too. A very important part. There's architects who just design and make aesthetics the first priorities, but then form follows. Form follows function.
I see. So architect actually has a lot of characteristics into it. I see. I mean, like
It's a broad thing.
you can like math and be an architecture too. Seems like
In math,
yeah, and no, like I mean, like you like math, you can calculate stuff easily, like heat, temperature. You said you can. I mean, like when you like even science subjects, you can be an architecture. You don't have to be a creative person to be an.
no, you don't have to be a creative person.
So anyone can be an architect.
Yes, anyone can be an architect, but the person, back to the story, the first story before, is always related to building a shelter for somebody, or for, if you build a chicken coop, or, for pigs, or for animals, a shelter for horses. That's an architecture study as well. It doesn't have to be a shelter for
Humans
It's
can be for animals too.
yeah.
So as an architect for Orangutan Haven, do you work like really close with orangutans, or are you usually the person who works behind the scenes, or are you on the field working with orangutans usually?
I do not work with orangutan in like in a direct way. I'm designing and building structures that provide proper shelter and proper, I would say, roaming range,
Like a habitat.
habitats for orangutan.
So you can simplify that by saying that you kind of build the houses for the orangutans.
Simplified, yeah, and their habitat, yeah.
Are the orangutans in Orangutan Haven like generally happy? Actually?
Yeah, I would say so. We just started. Like, those are unreleasable animals. They come from a conflict background. They got hurt really badly. Some of them are blind because they got shot.
See.
And other bad news there. And these animals are there in our sanctuary because they cannot be released into the wild anymore. And so we built a space for them that is as much natural as it would be in the wild. And that's where they can spend their rest of their days without being annoyed by humans again.
So
A comfortable zone.
So would you say that they are endangered? I suppose.
Those individuals that we have, they are not endangered anymore, but orangutan as a species, they are critically endangered.
Okay.
Mm,
See.
Yeah.
So you provide the houses for the orangutans who have received too much pain. Let's say.
Yeah, we provide not the houses actually. The house is just how to say a place to retreat.
Ah, okay.
Mhm.
So do you usually work alone or do you work like with an entire team usually for, let's say, designing the architect?
Oh, I have a whole team. So yeah, back to your question, maybe I am in the back of the scene a little bit.
Yeah.
I'm leading the architecture and the construction purposes on site. So I'm overseeing and involved in getting directions and training carpenters at the same time, having
So like a manager.
yeah, I'm a manager. Yeah. A bamboo production team
Ah,
leading production. So we have our sourcing our own materials and also, yeah, looking in on building up capacity building of young architects who step in and other construction workers and construction belongings.
see.
Mm.
So as the manager, you have to see a lot of sectors, not just the aspect of designing for houses or, well, the entire park itself, but you have to also look at bamboo sectors, bamboo production sectors. You have to look at other sectors too.
That's actually what makes my job interesting. I feel really, yeah, that's why after so many years here in Medan, maybe it's still called me. I'm still here because I'm not just doing design or I'm not just doing construction. I'm also doing material preparation, getting their materials ready while designing or overlooking the designs and then building it up. So it's a whole circle, a whole thing from zero to hero.
I see. So even my friends say that being an architecture is their dream and they feel like it's not a really hard profession. I feel like it's not that true anymore since you have to really see all aspects. Because you cannot just be building a wall and calling that architecture. You have to look at all aspects like the ground, the landscape, even the environment around us, right?
Yeah, you can build a wall, but I would call it bad architecture.
It's just a wall. It will not protect you from really anything.
No. There's a protection wall. It's not a good architecture at all. A wall is separating us from something.
Yes, indeed.
But the good architecture is inviting everything in.
Yeah. And feeling safe at the same time. Does that come?
Yeah, absolutely. Safety, yeah, is a thing.
Safety is a push. Now, I would like to go and...
It can be a green wall, for instance, right?
Cap?
Green wall?
Oh.
Like a wall doesn't have to be a solid wall. It can be a green fence I can make.
Oh, you mean like...
I can make a wall with plants.
Oh, with plants. Or like a plant arch thing.
Yeah, well, something, a green fence.
Can it be like a... I say like a...
insect.
Like a vine fence type of deal.
For instance.
Handwork as well.
Many ways, yeah.
So it also brings a lot of creativity into the aspects as well. And there's a lot of stuff that you can put into detail of architecture since, well, you can use plants.
Yeah, you have a whole range of materials. It's never that easy. But yeah, that makes it interesting, yeah.
Are the materials that you use like sometimes short of stock? Because, I mean, there's a lot of plants over here. I mean, does it regularly go out of stock or is it really hard to get?
Materials, yes. Like, okay, we are sitting here in Medan. There's always troubles to get certain materials. So we have to find a way around it and also build more locally, which is, of course, our main goal, to source as local as possible. To use materials that are not further away than 50 kilometers in the range of that. to reduce energy and logistics, to reduce energy on buildings, materials, etc., etc.
It also kind of lowers carbon emissions, doesn't it?
Yeah, loads. Yeah. It reduces a lot.
So essentially, it helped the climate change too.
Yeah,
You say so.
yeah, that's the main goal. Yeah. No, we always look at, okay, sometimes it's like basic building materials for putting drainage pipes in. Like the other day, we were just looking into getting geopipes. Geopipes are like perforated pipes that you lay into the ground.
Oh.
So that the soap water drains, like the top water, rainwater, drains into the ground and runs off, and so you can drain your water to a soak land or wherever you want to have it. Something very basic is not available here in Medan, so we would have to order it from Jakarta or anywhere else. Like, okay, what we do? No, it's not like what's supposed to be. So we build our own pipes. We use materials that are available here, and we'll drill holes into that and find our ways around. It's always a bit, so the challenge.
It's a
challenge, yeah.
I can see that it's a challenge. I mean, like, seeing as how some materials cannot be got like here in Medan. I mean, do you have an example of one materials that you cannot really retrieve in Medan?
That you cannot achieve in Medan?
Can you the material that you cannot retrieve in Medan?
Oh, okay. A material that you cannot retrieve. I think cotton.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. What are those really used for?
Cotton, steel is one of the materials that would give a like nice aesthetics, and that is like corrugated, not corrugated. Iron that is already rusty, right? Yeah. Yeah. So it's something that is just not here, and you don't see it in any building. Yeah.
So not all materials are always easy to get over here, but you guys always try to make it locally from here. So
yeah.
to waste like less time, to waste to prevent less carbon emissions, and perhaps even waste manpower, like some sectors.
Yeah.
I suppose so. Well, how long ago did you actually like come to Orangutan Haven?
Good question. Yeah, I arrived 8 years ago.
8 years ago?
Yeah, I moved from Bali to Medan in 2017.
2017.
Yeah, I'm here in Indonesia since 2012.
Oh, wow. I was not a child back then. I was a tiny kid.
Yeah.
I still had mushroom hair on, I remember.
You had mushroom hair? Like curly hair, or was this mushroom hair?
Like, you know, those mushrooms with like very curved, I wouldn't say shell, it's more like bismuth, like, yeah.
The beetles look?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those kinds. My mom thought those were like very, very cute to have. Especially I was like a tiny kid back then.
Yeah.
And like, seeing as how mushroom hair can be cute on kids, I think I can kind of agree that it's kind of funny. Yeah. When I saw my old pictures, I was like, oh my, I do not like this hair. And I was always constantly complaining to my mom that, oh, I do not want this haircut, mom. Can I get a new one? Yeah. I want it cut shorter because I feel like it's always the teachers who like me more than the students.
That's good.
And it's kind of funny because I was still a little kid back then, and she was like, "Now you look very handsome in this form of haircut."
I can imagine that, yeah.
And back when I was a child, my grandma would always, sometimes she would take like a bucket, put it in my head, and just cut the head. Or maybe a bowl, like a bowl.
Yeah. It's a bowl cut. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Mangkok.
I mean, like, What was your experience with hair like that?
I never had the mushroom hair, but I always switch from short to long. If I let it grow, then I cut it back to short, and then I let it grow again. So I just have to go to the hairdresser once in a year.
Once in a year. Wow. I have to go there like once every.
Efficiency, you know.
I go there once every month because my hair grows so fast.
Yeah.
I just cut this like let's say a few days ago. And like my hair before I cut it was long. Like I permed my hair and everything was long.
Okay.
You know the Korean designs of like hair?
Yeah, I got the idea.
Perm.
Army style, right?
What is it?
Short on the side, long on the top.
It's like it's like mushroom hair, but it's not, it's like more towards the front.
Yeah, I gotcha.
So they permed it, they kind of did aesthetics to it. I'm not sure what they did. And then they made the hair kind of brown. Just a bit weird, but I quite like it.
Mm.
And when they cut my hair, I feel like, wow, I can feel the breeze through my hair. And it has been, well, a long time since I've had a hair like this.
Yeah.
Because on my Instagram, you can kind of see like when I go out, it's always long hair.
Oh yeah.
Because I've been quite used to it as a kid. Yeah, I've been quite long. But that's a point where my hair was short because I kind of hated mushroom hair. But then when I saw that long hair can be actually kind of good, I switched back to the long hair.
You had long hair before?
Yeah, of course.
How long?
Ooh, that was a
Like long, like shoulder long, or?
No, not like shoulder long. I would say it's over here we consider long as until the eyebrows.
That's already long.
That's already long.
Okay, yeah.
Because in school we're not allowed to have extremely long hair.
Oh really?
Yeah,
That's a rule?
that's a rule. Yeah, because in our schools, the limit for the hair can be only until 10 centimeters or 5 centimeters.
Wow.
Like it's very short. Especially in my old school, I had to literally cut my hair to 5 centimeters.
Oh wow, that's quite Orwellian.
Yeah. How about in Austria? Is it like this? Is there a rule like that? No.
No, that would go against the constitution.
Oh, I see. So over here it's like we are just the teachers and also the government here is scared that the students will have a hard time studying since they do not tie their hair over here. They just cut it short.
Yeah.
And that's why there's a joke where if you have long hair, just tie your hair. And it's like when we see tied hair over here, it's always correlates to women.
Yeah.
If we tie our own hair, it feels like a lot of the traditional parents would not like it because they would feel like it's kind of violating their own like family cultures or traditions.
Gotcha.
Since the traditional parents are a bit more less open-minded on a few things like let's say long hair on boys, but instead they like short hair on boys. It's the same thing as the government or teachers over here. So a lot of them prefer short hair because they think it's more practical, but a lot of people also think that short hair is better because long hair can go against traditional standards.
Yeah, I see. Quite uniform. Yeah, that's what I always try. Okay, maybe if I bring a sample or an example from architecture in here, putting the hair story into architecture, since you're always trying to not make anything uniform, and every architect, every individual as human is different. And so we try also to design according to each individual. So if one individual has long hair, the other one has no hair, and all these forms in between, that is also the design for the building then, right? So we don't want to have uniform concrete boxes that are all square and the same roof on top of it and the same,
Because they're endless.
the same style. It is like,
It's creative.
it need to be part of a world that is diverse and not uniform.
If it's a uniform world, it can be, I would say it can be less innovative sometimes.
It is less creative, it is less innovative, and it makes us
It can be a bit more boring.
lemmings. Yeah.
It might seem a bit lifeless in a sense.
Agree, Cesar, agree. Agree.
And with a world where you can actually experiment with different ideas, I feel like it will be more creative. But again, bringing out, let's say, bad ideas, I wouldn't say it's a good thing at the same time.
Yeah, yeah.
So I would say that it wouldn't be good to put out too much freedom.
Too much freedom.
Like too much, how do I say this? Since all of us wants like our own type of style.
Yeah.
Like let's say if a style is really like offensive,
Mm.
I feel like we shouldn't like kind of put that out, since it's something that's, let's say, towards bad towards other people, or just generally bad towards like the messages that we have shared today.
Yeah, I can see that. That's a long debate though.
It's a long,
But
it's a long one.
yeah, it will make it harder for the rulers if everyone has freedom, and certain rules need to be implied indeed. To show directions and guidelines. Sure. But that's like, yeah, basic, right? You need to in the building you need certain aspects that are always the same. You need a floor that is not wet.
Yeah.
You need to keep your feet dry. You need to keep your head dry. So you need to install a roof that keeps you dry. And also for society, there are certain ways and certain directions that we all have to follow and to be led by. But then there's always a question of where's the freedom to be cut, and how free can we roam?
Yeah.
Free range chickens, free range cities. It's like, yeah.
I mean, talking about chickens, do you eat like, let's say, meat, or are you vegetarian?
No, I'm an animal lover.
Ah, okay.
Yeah. Yeah. I wouldn't. You can call me an environmentalist.
Okay.
So I think that the answer to your question.
I understand. So it's you're a person who cares a lot about nature,
Yeah. I'm part of nature.
and you want
I
to.
care a lot about me, and I care a lot about others.
How about your family members? Do they also feel the same as?
Oh yeah. I grew up like that.
Oh, you grew up liking nature.
Yes. I grew up next to a river, next to a forest.
So you loved all of that. You loved all of it, and you wanted to preserve it over here as well.
No, I didn't leave it. It's still here.
Still there.
And I'm going back home. Often enough to reconnect. And yeah, it's like how I grew up. I'm just putting it to a next level, maybe. Yeah.
See.
Mm-hmm.
And so
evolution.
Yeah. So lovely. And so, like, essentially, do you feel like you kind of evolve your love for nature in Austria, or do you evolve your love for nature in Indonesia?
No. As I say, I grew up with it, so I get you. It never really made a click. It was always there. It was. I remember when I grew up, and you asked me the question about whether I eat animal corpses or not. Yeah. I don't call it meat. I call it animal corpses intentionally. Then I remind myself when I went hunting with my brother, like back home, hunting for animals. That's how you get your meat, or that's how you get your, not like going to the supermarket and buy something that somebody else put in a factory and filled it with antibiotics and made this animal suffer for the whole life just to be killed thoughtlessly. No, when I went hunting with my father as a small child, I always, that's where I already developed like, this is, it's tough. It's tough. You have to kill the animal. It's tough. You have to cut it open to get all the intestines out, to go home and prepare it, pull off the fur, and And then until it's cooked and my mother was serving it on the table, it was always, I always, when I saw the animal being killed, I always looked into its eye before it was killed because I was there, right? You saw it in the far before you shoot it. And then a deer, for instance, and I looked into its eye, and that's where I created the bond because I knew, yeah, this
has feelings.
it has a mother and it has a father as well. Maybe it has a child somewhere running around in a different part of the forest. But that was always touching for me. And I remember that later, that I already created, that I know this whole process. And I myself decided I do not want to go hunting. So if I don't want to go hunting, I'm certainly not buying this in the supermarket. This doesn't make sense for me.
Yeah, true. That doesn't make sense. So essentially, we have to also care about the animal's feelings as well. We shouldn't just roam around and hunt everywhere as if animals have feelings too, right?
They have families, they have feelings, yeah. They're sentient beings.
We should really care about them as
They also feel pain the same way as we do.
So we have to care about them as much as we do care about ourselves.
If we care about ourselves. That is not always the case.
I see more common cases of where people care more about other people than they care about ourselves.
Yeah, that's impossible. You cannot care about others if you don't care about yourself first.
That's quite... yeah, that does hit deep.
Yeah.
It does hit deep sometimes, yeah. And like, as an animal lover, what do you usually do, let's say when you see a stray cat in the middle of the street?
Yeah, what do I do? What do you think?
Like when it runs to you.
What do you do?
I pet it.
Yeah, okay, same.
We always pet. Oh, I usually just give them food, actually.
If it's possible, yeah. If there's, you can do like what you can do in an instance, yeah.
Because I feel very bad for stray cats. My parents do. My entire family does. And I feel like stray cats get so little recognition because they have mothers too. They have fathers. They have families. Maybe had kids too.
Yes.
And just seeing them perhaps like not being cared about, it kind of breaks our hearts. And then we see it.
And they once had an owner, for sure.
Yeah, one had an owner.
So the source of this evil that is happening is from the owner or previous owner.
Usually the previous owner is one who didn't really care about the cat. They were to abandon it, right?
Yeah.
And here's a fun fact, by the way. One of my biggest cats and also one of my, let's say, first cats.
Mm-hmm.
He's on my Instagram profile right now.
Yeah.
He did pass away like last 2 years ago, I believe. And he was a stray cat himself.
Okay.
He was, I think he was abandoned by his old owners because, well, he did not look like a native to Indonesian cats. Instead, he looked more like a European cat that's being lost in the middle of Medan. And so when my uncle saw it, he contacted my mom because my mom was very happy to have, known that her brother has found a really big cat in the middle of Medan. And we felt bad for the cat. And we brought the cat in. Even though the cat was scared, the cat wanted to kind of claw everyone since he was very scared. We still gave him food because we felt really bad. The cat was in a really bad condition. He had like fungus everywhere. But we managed to live with him for around 3 years. We got really close to him. He was like a best friend to us. And he's a part of the family. And he's a part of her.
Okay.
He's a good cat. I would even say that he's a really large part of my life.
Yeah.
He's a large part of my life because he's
a bond.
There's a bond, and I miss him.
I feel you. I had a dog like that. So I grew up with one, and it really hit me hard when he reached his age.
Yeah. My cat did reach his age as well. Because when we caught him, he was... No, I wouldn't say we caught him. It's more like when we took him in, he was 3 years old or 5 years old. And for cats, that is really old already. Because cats' lifespan can go up to just, let's say, 10 years or just 9 years.
Yeah, something like yeah. Dogs 15 years
And, well,
maximum.
we thought, like, why not make the cat's life better instead of just leaving it on the street? And so we made sure that the cat lived very well.
Yeah.
Until, well, his age came to be, really.
Yeah.
And we felt really bad for the cat.
Yeah.
So if you were like your old past self, or if you were like my age, what would you say to that person? Like, what would you say to your past self?
Oh, okay. Interesting. What would I say to myself? The same thing, actually, that I say to myself now as well. Just live every day as it would be your last day. Just do what you want to do without holding back, without paying too much attention of, I don't know, of what society is telling you to do or what others tell you to do. I would always make the same decisions as I made back then. I would say to myself, remember that time really well, because it was very, very good.
So live your life.
Yeah.
Follow your passion.
Fully, yeah. Follow your passion. Yes, exactly. And develop your individuality.
So if you have a message to our young audiences, what would you say to them?
That would be the message, yeah. I think that would be the message, like, yeah, do what you can do what it is to be and to develop yourself without being forced into any direction. Just go off and find what is in there in yourself. Is it in your heart? Is it in your mind? Is it in your soul? What is your passion? And go after it. Because only you will fail. We fail. We're meant to fail. And then we learn out of those failures. And that will lead us to another path that might pop up super interesting, or it might pop up as your passion that we don't know yet. But just by exploring, that's the way how we find out. And that makes us as an individual, not as a lemming that goes and works the same way as everyone else does. We need storytellers. We need peacemakers. We need love makers in this world. We got enough people that are the other part. And that's what we need. That's my message to the world. And
thank you, sir.
Thank you, everyone who's listening today.
Thank you, sir, for the message. And thank you for your time.
Yeah, you very well.
No show.
Thank you, Cedric.
And it's a big honor to be here sitting with sir over here.
Yeah, and you were a great host. Well done, I have to say.
Honored. You're very honored. And this is the Making You Better You podcast. And this is Sir Gilbert Muro. And I am Lieutenant General Cedric Yago. I hope that everyone has had a fun time listening. And I am sorry for any inconvenience that has happened. Without further ado, let's conclude our show by saying, SML1, Making You Better You.